Hello and welcome to the 2023 COPA PELIGRO Cup here in New York City. You're watching the Gremlins Network. This one just underway at 12:15 p.m. scheduled start here in the shadow of Yankee Stadium. This one will feature the New York Gremlins. They'll be taking on AWP Lumberjacks, who just won their earlier round game over Venezuela. Pablo Migliavaca in the circle for the Gremlins. Nick Mullins behind the plate doing the catching. Setting the Gremlins for you defensively, it's Jerome Remaki at third base. Over at short, Cole Evans. Second baseman Ladislao Malarchuk and Eric Ochoa over at first base. The outfield for the Gremlins, left to right, Matthew Waugh in left, Benny Noka in center, and Zenon Winters over in right field. Migliavaca there with that great changeup that he's used to his advantage throughout this tournament. Gremlins won their pool. They finished 3-0. So they grabbed a top seed in a first-round bye. So they did not play at 10:15 this morning, as did the Lumberjacks. All three pitchers on the Gremlins with complete game victories. Jack Beastgrove, the youngster from Australia, started off on opening night on Friday. Struck out 16. Migliavaca came out in the second game, and he struck out 12 in picking up the win. And Andrew Kirkpatrick, the veteran ace of the staff, a complete game shutout last night. Meanwhile, on the changeup, down on strikes goes Vladimir Turkelson, the leadoff hitter for AWP. We'll catch up with the lineups as we go. The latter game just finishing, so those lineup cards just coming up to the booth. At the plate, it'll be Cody Pannebecker. Pannebecker, the second baseman for this AWP team. Change in for a called strike. These two teams met on opening night on Friday, or at least the first game for the Gremlins. There was one other game played on Thursday night. Little spinner off the plate outside. The Gremlins coming away with a 6-3 win. That was the 16 strikeout game for Jack Beastgrove. Grounder up the middle for a base hit. And Pannebecker aboard with the first hit of this ball game. So the skipper for the Gremlins, Greg Leather, giving the AWP team a different look. It was Beastgrove on Friday, and it's Pablo Migliavaca here on Sunday. This is a playoff round game, semifinal. Winner advancing to the championship game, set to go at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Deep to left field, going back is Matthew Waugh, and he runs out of room. Francisco Lombardo with a home run puts the AWP Lumberjacks on top by a 2-0 score. Looked like the ball was up a little bit, and Lombardo taking advantage of that. First time in the tournament the Gremlins have trailed. We'll see how they respond. Lots of ball game to play. So the batter now with the bases cleared, Cisco Sabate. Cisco, veteran Argentine player. Played a good portion of his career up in the Pacific Northwest on the other end of the country from us. High hopper, it'll be Remaki coming over to make the catch and throw. So 5-3 on your scorecard if you're keeping score with us at home. 2 outs in the inning, 2 runs in. If you joined us late, Lombardo with a 2-run shot following the single from Cody Pannebecker. And the batter will be Juan Vala. Little spinner off the outside edge, outside. Vala was one of the late game substitutes for AWP. They trailed at 1.6-0 and wound up scoring 3 runs late in the game. And it was Vala that contributed a single to that effort. So rewarded for that, he finds himself starting in this one. Vala will play center field. Shows bunt, it's in for a called strike. Remaki and Ochoa, the corners for the Gremlins, just about even with the bag, maybe a step in front. Outfield straightaway. Winter shaded just a little bit towards that foul line. Swing and a miss, late missing in that one. So down on strikes goes Vala. The side retired. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Pablo Migliavaca, but not before the Lumberjacks strike for 2. The Francisco Lombardo 2-run homer will head to the home half of the first inning and be back with more great action from the Peligro Cup. Home half of the first inning for the New York Gremlins. It'll be Matthew Waugh to start things off. He'll be followed by Jerome Remaki and Ben Inoka. Eric Ochoa will hit cleanup for the Gremlins. Zenon Winters right behind him in the 5 spot as the DP. Brian Avery will follow Winters. Cole Evans batting 7th. Cole already with 3 home runs on this young season. Ladislao Malarchuk will hit 8th, and Nick Mullins down in the 9 spot. So that's the batting order for the Gremlins. Defensively for AWP Lumberjacks, it's Francisco Lombardo, who just hit the 2-run homer over at third. Carlos Comaraz at short. Cody Pannebecker at second. Cisco Sabate at first base. The outfield, left to right, Valimar Turkelson in left, Juan Vala in center, and Mike Marrero over in right. Daniel Alstedt doing the catching, and in the circle for the Lumberjacks, Marco Diaz. Diaz was the starter on Friday night, got himself into trouble with walks. Gremlins wound up scoring 5 runs in that second inning of that game. 4 of the base runners coming on walks. 8 walks on the night. So that spelled trouble. Diaz did not finish the game, but the big fellow's back in the circle today. Hard grounder. Boy, what a play. Around the back, comes out on the other side, grabs the ball and throws for the out. That one looked like it was headed up the middle. Nice defensive play by the big right-hander. Some pitchers throw better, pitch better when they are in the lead. We'll see how it works for Mr. Diaz. Right now it's Jerome Ramaki at the plate. Jerome 7 for 23 thus far in the season. That translates to a .385 batting average. So certainly among the hit leaders for this New York Gremlin club. Two hopper out to short, a little spin move out there by Colmenares over to first for the 6-3 put out. So Diaz responding to those two runs well, two up and down quickly for the Gremlins. It'll be Benny Noka stepping in. Benny 7 for 24 thus far in the season, 292 average. Gremlins with 12, count them, 12 home runs already in just the two tournaments. The first one last weekend, the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe, Ontario. Gremlins coming away winners in that one. Third time they have won that tournament. They dropped their opening game of that tournament, and they've been winners ever since. They won 5 more in Simcoe. Add to that the 3 they've won thus far in this tournament. They're on an 8-game win streak. Little slow roller out to short. Carlos Colmenares with the toss and a 6-3 put out. Ground out, ground out, ground out in this one. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Gremlins. We'll head to the top half of the second inning. AWP Lumberjacks of DuQuoin, Illinois, 2, and the New York Gremlins, nothing. We'll be back with more great action. Don't go away. Top half of the second inning for the AWP Lumberjacks. We are down to the 6, 7, 8 spots in their batting order. They'll start things off with the shortstop, Carlos Colmenares, followed by the DP, Federico Olheiser, and then Daniel Alstedt hitting in the 8th spot. Mike Moreno waiting in the wings at the 9 spot if we get that far. First pitch by Migliavaca, a little spinner outside. Changeup in for a called strike. The changeup is his money pitch. Looks to be throwing it a little bit differently today. The one the other day that was so effective, a little over the top with the bottom falling out. This one sort of spinning from the middle of the plate away from the right-handers.
Okay. Vamos para la parte alta del segundo episodio, 2 carreras por 0.
Swing and a miss. There's the beauty. That's the pitch we were talking about. Away, spinning away from the right-hander. So down on strikes he goes. Strikeout number 3.
Qué bárbaro. Lanzamiento corto. Cambio ahí en la esquina de afuera.
So the batter for AWP, Federico Olheiser. He's DP in this one.
Equipo de los Lumberjacks. Preparado el pitch.
That one right down the heart of Main Street for a called strike. Migliavaca coming back in from Argentina, just arrived the day before that Chiefs Challenge began. Migliavaca coming on in the championship game and pitched very, very well. Came on in relief at a time when the Gremlins were down 4-3. Kept them in the ball game until Blake Hunter struck in the 6th inning with that grand slam home run to win the tournament. Hit by pitch is Olheiser. He'll head down to first. So the first free pass given up by Migliavaca. Miggy, as we mentioned earlier, a member of that Hill United team that he was pitching against in Simcoe, Ontario, had been a member of that squad for a number of years. So pitching with a little extra incentive. That one a three-hopper. Over to Cole Evans, tips on the bag, throws to first. Double play.
Lumberjacks 2, Gremlins 0.
So the side retired, no runs, no hits at the end of an inning and a half. The score still 2-0 AWP. Bottom half of the second inning for the Gremlins, trying to climb back in this one. They need the win to advance to that championship game. This tournament now down to just 4 teams. These are semi-final games. In the second for the Gremlins, it'll be 4, 5, and 6. That's Ochoa, Winters, and Brian Avery. Eric among the leading hitters for this Gremlin team thus far in the season. 8 for 19. That's a stellar 421 batting average. Ochoa also among those with home runs on the tournament on the season. 12 total in the 2 weekends.
Partido a 7 innings, 2-0. Diamante número 1. Segundo partido del día de hoy.
Ball away for, or on the outside edge, I guess, for the strike. Ochoa will use the entire plate. Likes to go the other way sometimes, so watch that 5.5 hole. Foul tip over on the left side, out of play.
de FAO visita Peligro Sport 2200 de Amsterdam, guantes, bates y pelotas, además todo tipo de uniforme Peligro Sport. Jugados en este maravilloso diamante, el segundo partido en el día de hoy, domingo, para llegar a su culminación de este evento Peligro Sport. Y aquí atrás tenemos la popular entrega de los trofeos para los campeones, aparte de aquello, ya verán lo que te hablé ahorita. Llévalo.
Comes inside to Ochoa, misses way inside.
Cuenta 3-2 para Ochoa. Marcos Díaz en el pitching ball, oyendo las señales de su coche con mucha calma.
Swing and a miss late on that one. Good location away from Ochoa. So 4 in a row retired by Marco Diaz. That'll bring Zenon Winters to the plate. Zenon, the leader in most all of the hit categories thus far in the season. He's the leader with 3 home runs. Leads the team with 8 hits. 8 for 19 thus far with a 421 batting average. Bounced up the middle. That'll add to the totals. First pitch swinging is Zenon. Saw a pitch he liked and breaks the string of 4 consecutive outs.
Bueno, la tomó cómoda ahí este lanzamiento de Díaz.
So with Zenon over at first base, Brian Avery will step in. Avery 7 for 24 on the season, 292 average. So doing his part to contribute.
Gracias, Topo 15. Al bate viene Brian.
Hard one right down the heart of Main Street. On deck is Cole Evans. Evans over in the on-deck circle on the third base side, trying to avoid any harm going the other way. Good changeup by Diaz. Avery way out in front.
Corredor en primera, temperatura en la ciudad de Nueva York, 77 grados. Poco húmedo. Preparado Marcos en el pitching ball.
Just off the plate outside. Avery with pretty good power. The wind not blowing quite as much as it did yesterday. Flags were blowing pretty hard, just sort of gently at this point. A little hotter day. Talk of some rain maybe towards the end of the afternoon. That one's fouled off the screen on the right side.
En Manhattan, Peligro Sport, y allá en Santiago en la Plaza Marili frente al Lejón. Preparado Marco de nuevo.
Swing and a miss on a good rise ball. Down goes Avery. Out number 2.
Qué bárbaro. A la escuelita ahí de Hogando lo mandamos a ese. El hombre que siempre está dando, Hogando. Amigo personal de nosotros.
So Avery down on strikes. That'll bring Cole Evans to the plate. Evans with 3 home runs in the season thus far. So even though he's hitting in the 7th spot, plenty of power. A little delay steal by Zenon Winters. Looked like catcher Alstead had a little trouble handling that. Zenon had a good jump off the bag. Saw that he had the base and took it.
De los Gremlins de New York. Una información de Peligro Sport. En el 2200 de Amsterdam Avenue, ahí te encuentra la tienda de la Super.
Evans 6 for 20 in the season thus far. That's a 300 average. Among the 5 players leading in the RBI category with 7 already. So he'll produce some runs for you.
Marcos en el pitching ball, cogiendo la señal de su queche con mucha calma. Corredor en segunda.
Way inside.
Bajito el lanzamiento y pegado ahí. Llegando al final de esta 24ª Copa Peligro Sport.
Zenon getting a pretty good jump out at second base. A big fellow, but he can run very well. Veteran or not. Swing and a foul, tip off the hands. Diaz looks to be a little bit sharper than he was on opening night. It's early in the season for so many of these teams, so some of the pitchers having to work through that first set of games, and Diaz definitely looking stronger than he did on Friday. Way inside again.
Hay 2 outs, corredor en segunda. 2 carreras por 0 el partido. Arriba el equipo de los Lumberjacks de Illinois. Preparado.
That went in for a call strike, over the top drop by Diaz.
De 80 millas por hora, dice el Topo. Rápido ese lanzamiento. Preparado Marcos Díaz en el pitching ball, cogiendo las señales de su queche con mucha calma. Corredor en segunda. Preparado.
Foul tip, that one in on the hands. Inside, but not a pitch he wanted to take, so he fights it off. A little quieter for the Gremlins than it's been thus far in the tournament. They scored 6 in the first game, 15 in the second, 7 last night. But on the short end of a 2-0 score right now. inside, and Evans works the walk.
Y base a primera base con una transferencia más para el equipo de los Gremlins que colocan el empate en primera con 2 outs.
It was walks that got Diaz into trouble on Friday night. He had a 5-run second inning with 4 of those reaching on free passes. Thus far, only 1, but with 2 outs facing Ladislao Malarchuk with runners at first and second. It's Winters at second, Evans over at first.
El equipo de los Gremlins encuentra corredor en primera y segunda, pero hay 2 outs. Marcos Díaz en el pitching ball teniendo problemas.
Malarchuk 4 for 19 on the season thus far. That's a 235 average. Still looking to find his groove. Good contact hitter, has power as well. Lays off the outside pitch, but it's on the edge for a called strike.
14ª Copa Peligro Sport, dedicada a quien tocó.
A Roberto Rojas en La Pala, candidato a diputado de Ultramar en la ciudad de Nueva York.
Bueno, ese candidato también lleva saludo especial para Sasá. Preparado, Marcos.
Off the plate outside, gets away from Allstat. Winters and Evans picking up 60 feet in the process, so second and third now. Base hit by Malarchuk could tie the game. Ladislao can surprise you with some power from time to time, but right now I have to think looking for just a ball in the gap or on the grass deep enough to score both of these runners. Swing and a miss late on that one. Malarchuk shaking his head after the swing as if to say, I saw it, I saw it.
Una información de Peligro Sport. Diaz en el montículo.
The pitch from Diaz. Lined into center field. Coming home to score is Winter with 1 run. Right behind him, Cole Evans with the tying run. And Ladislao Malarchuk delivers with 2 outs.
Avanzando los muchachos desde segunda, también anotó en carreras, empate el partido a 2 por bando. Y acabo de informar que ese equipo es un equipo campeón.
So a 2 RBI single with 2 outs by Malarchuk has things even at 2. And down to the 9 spot, Nick Mullins with a chance to reset and start things again.
Ahí bate Nick Muller.
Shows bunt, and Allstat having some trouble handling the ball again. Down to second goes Malarchuk.
El equipo de los Gremlins siguen amenazando en esta entrada con corredores segunda. Y hay 2 out.
Funny how things can change for you in the swing of one batter.
Preparado de nuevo.
Mullins now with a runner in scoring position. That one stays up high. Nick 4 for 19 on the season.
Alto el lanzamiento. Una información de Peligro Sport, la super tienda. Peligro Sport. La 169.
Outfield fairly straight away, although Marrero in right field shaded towards the foul line a bit. That one's in for a called strike. So big gap out in right center field. Juan Vala shaded just a bit towards right as well.
2200 de Amsterdam Avenue. Luego te encuentra la super tienda Peligro Sport. Útil deportivo a buen precio de calidad. Peligro Sport. Preparado Díaz. Batazo.
Liner off the screen, foul. That one winds up in the dugouts. Close quarters here at McCombs Dam Park. The dugouts are right on top of home plate, and home plate is right on top of the backstop. We're playing on the old Yankee Stadium grounds. They've built the new one right next door. You'll see it in right field as the camera pans out from time to time, but we are playing where the greats played for some 80 years. These are 3 fields they put in when they built the new Yankee Stadium. They refer to them as heritage fields. 3 of them, this tournament using 2. The other semifinal game going on the other in the direction of Yankee Stadium.
Marcos Díaz en el pitching ball, cogiendo la señal de su queche con mucha calma. Corredor en segunda, 2 out.
Little flare out to second base. Pennebecker will squeeze it for out number 3, and the side retired. But not before the Gremlins get even. They score 2 on the 2 hits. The RBI single from Lumberjacks brings home 2, and we'll head to the top half of the 3rd inning. Score tied at 2. You're watching the PELIGRO Cup Tournament, New York City, on the Gremlins Network. We'll be right back. Top half of the 3rd inning for this one for AWP. It'll be 9-1-2. That means Mike Marrero, the right fielder, will start things off. Then back to the top of the shop with Turkelson, Pennebecker, and Francisco Lombardo if we get that far. Lombardo with that 2-run homer had put his team on top at one point, 2-0. And the Gremlins have caught them, and we're even at 2.
Vamos a la parte alta del tercer episodio. El equipo de los Lumberjacks de Illinois vienen al bate.
Bajito el lanzamiento.
Little drop ball missing away with that one. Migliavacca, a complete game victory in his earlier start. That was yesterday's early game. That came against Fisher fastball. 12 strikeouts on the day. Wound up a 15-1 winner in a run rule game. That one got out of hand as the Gremlins went yard a couple of times. Swing and a miss on the good changeup.
2-2 el partido, parte alta del tercer episodio. Partido pactado a 7 innings. Pactado ahí a 2 carreras por bandos.
Swing and a miss on another changeup. So even the 9-hitter getting a steady diet of changeups. He's down on strikes. We'll go back to the top of the order to Valdemar Turkelson. 4 strikeouts thus far on the day for Migliavacca. Turkelson was one of those leading off the game back in the first. Migliavacca